Oh boy. I just finished this show. I just finished watching this show, bro. And this is the crazy thing. I'm gonna take y'all back before I even get into this. I remember back in the day when Black Panther 2 was gonna come out, the excitement. This is before even Chadwick died. Maybe slightly after. They were like, oh, we're gonna bring Riri Williams, Ironheart into the movie. And I'm like, why? Because she's a fellow black character? What is that supposed to do? Oh, it's a good way to introduce her. No other movie makes sense. I was like, okay, that still is a little weird. Then she was in the movie, wasn't my fave part. Then they talking about Ironheart TV show. I'm like, that's really not a good idea. Because even in the comic space, people hated her more than Miles, right? People are also gonna say, oh well, Miles got his movie and it was fire. That was a Spider-Verse movie. We saw all types of Spider-Man. That movie has so much going on. So now you got a character who's pretty brand new. I don't even think she's 10 years old. You gave her own show with not a lot of content, and I'm thinking like this ain't gonna work. But I remember I was like, okay, Armor Wars is gonna come out, right? We still don't know what the fuck happened to Armor Wars. Where that at? Where's Armor Wars, bruh? Where is it at? You know what I mean? I start the show. At first, I'm like these. I'm like, okay, it's decent. Let me not write it off. People are so quick to write shit off. Then by the time this shit is over, man, I'm like these. I'm watching this show confused out of my mind. Let's just get started. First of all, this is a superhero show. This girl had no heroic qualities. Everything she did, alright, given the ending, but everything she did was villainous. She was a criminal. She stole. She lied. She used people to get what she wanted. She brought her friend back from the dead because she couldn't handle the pain. She didn't realize it was a good thing. Um, There was not one single. She got a dude sent to jail. She met him. She's like, "Oh, your tech not going to send you to jail." Sent him to jail. Never got him out. Used him too. It's like this is a superhero show, right? Like she's supposed to be the next Iron Man, and yet she's like a villainous Iron Man. And I'm just like, yo, this is so stupid. And then the main villain is the guy that uses a cloak. Now off rip, I'm thinking, okay, they gotta explain how he got the cloak. Now I'm not gonna say I thought it could have been Mephisto, but part of me was like, why is a tech hero going up against a magic villain, right? That would lead you to believe that are we gonna see Doctor Strange, or are we gonna see Wong? But I also was like, why? Why this show would you do that? That didn't make any sense. Unless it was supposed to set up something in the future, right? I'll get to that in a bit. But even still, I'm watching the show. She's like, "Oh, I need money to fund my suit," and I'm like, "Yo, you was just at Wakanda. They are trillionaires. No, that's not a joke. They are trillionaires. She funded you to go to MIT, and they came up with this plot reason why she can't ask Shuri for help, and now she's doing some criminal stuff. Like you was just in Wakanda. Like vibranium sells for a lot, and you got this scholarship, and you blew it all away. So the plot never made sense. The dialogue was cringy. And bro, they in Chicago. Yo, why every black character they come up with, they gotta be ghetto? Like, this girl's supposed to be the smart genius, and she's just some ghetto Chicagoan who's a criminal. Like, the first Marvel superhero to start off as a... No, not the first. I'm lying. Because Ant-Man started off as a criminal. Ant-Man, he did. But I'm like, he had a redemption. Shorty ain't have no redemption, you know? And it's like, ugh. So the plot of the show is she joins a criminal crew. She's in denial about the fact that she's a criminal, which is another villainous thing. They're in denial about what they're doing bad. And at some point she gets scared about Parker, who's got the cloak, right? And I'm looking at it like, he ain't doing nothing that crazy with that cloak. He turns invisible and he bends bullets. Why is that enough for you to be scared? And they spent like 2 episodes saying like, "Oh, I'm scared of Parker." And then she's like, "Oh, I gotta take a piece of his cloak so I can fight him." Like, dude, he turns invisible and he bends bullets. You got a whole like War Machine level suit. You should be able to go toe to toe. This don't make sense. I am so confused. And they also did something with AI. Now AI is real for people, but she used AI to bring her friend back. At the beginning, they said it wasn't intentional. Now it seems like she used the AI to Not because she couldn't accept that her friend died. She tried to bring her back. That's a very common superhero trait. That's a common Tony trait too. He would try to bring somebody back. He did that with Jarvis in a way. So I did like that part. But I know what y'all here for. You almost heard the news. I got spoiled before I watched it. Talk about Mephisto, man. Of all the shows to debut Mephisto, to do it in is crazy. WandaVision came out 5 years ago. I had friends that swore to God, oh, they're not gonna do Mephisto because certain countries you can't show the devil. He's not the devil. He is a demon, but he's not the devil. And Mephisto is a big character. He ties to Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. So people were like, oh, maybe Mephisto will do something with Wanda. He's in this show. Now, I'm going to give them a small bit of credit in a minute and say why it could make sense. But to debut such a huge character in a show so bad, they had to know the show wasn't going to be good. They had, like, no, bro, I'm telling you, this show is not good. If you haven't watched it, don't. It's a waste of your time. You know? It did totally show his demon face. I like that. You know? And yeah, man. And like, okay, we'll just dive into the ending. So her plan to stop this man who can turn invisible and bend bullets is to let me use some dark magic to power my suit. I'm like, what in the Doctor Doom? Doctor Doom ain't even here yet, and she's doing Doctor Doom stuff, magic and tech. You needed all that to defeat a guy who can turn invisible. I'm like, damn, what would you have done if Thanos, Loki, Hulk pulled up, bruh? If you had needed all that. I'm like, she beat him easily, but I'm like, you didn't even need all that. And for some reason, going to the dark world eliminated the AI. I don't know why, but whatever, right? So the show ends on a crazy twist. Basically, it ends on the fact that Mephisto cuts her a deal. You know, he gives you what your heart quote unquote desires, but it's a sacrifice. And basically, she ends up shaking his hand and he brings Nat in a way back to life. Now, obviously, that's not the real Nat. Mephisto cannot bring people back to life. That's either some type of doppelganger, a chameleon, a clone, a demon, somebody impersonating Nat. Maybe he imported the AI um, that Riri made and was able to put into some physical body of somebody that doesn't remember. He probably did some mumbo jumbo, but even Mephisto cannot really bring the dead back to life. Now, other people may say, why would Mephisto be interested in Riri and, where's Ghost Rider, even though Ghost Rider technically exists, and, where's Peter Parker? Now, I remember watching Spider-Man, the animated series, a long, long time ago, and, it's funny, like, they was mentioning Dormammu a lot, and back then, in the 90s cartoon, Dormammu couldn't get back to Earth because, like, he was sealed off, the magic was too high. So he used a technical way of building a portal. So Riri, with how smart she is, Mephisto's probably hoping that she can build a portal to bring him to Earth. That's all Mephisto wants to do. He wants to escape hell, go to Earth. He can't use all of his powers. But the video's getting too long. But this show's ass. Don't watch it. They're already saying they're canceling season 2. She's gonna show up at some point, either in Armor Wars or another film. My thing is, now that Mephisto's here, if they can't stop him for real. But if they were gonna do anything to talk about her, sacrificing, because it is a big sacrifice. We're gonna have to see Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider. We're gonna see some big characters. So I don't know if he's gonna be in the next Avengers film or what the point of this. But this whole season was garbage. Do not waste your time. These MCU shows are never good, man, and I don't know why. Like, it's not that complicated to make a simple good guy versus bad guy show. Even if you want to cut against the grain, you gotta have some heroic features. Shorty had none of that. You gotta show what she's doing this for. She's making this armor because she's scared to lose her fam. And look, they basically went the villainous side without trying. And like I said, I didn't feel like room for her. I didn't care for her character. I didn't like her. It was just a mess, a complete train wreck. But that's my review. It was all over the place, but I just watched it. These are just my thoughts. I'm sure I forgot some stuff, but it don't matter. None of it is important. They're not hitting with these MCU shows. Daredevil's all we got, and I can't wait for the next season. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Thank you.